Hey class, this is Will.
And I'm Erin.
And this is our reaction to the Korean culture trip that we took to Mart. And we're just going to talk about some of the things that happened while we were there.
When we first got there, we were pulling up and two men were talking, and as they were departing each other, they bowed. So we thought that was interesting. We didn't really know that, and that's not in our culture, so it was easy to make that connection.
And when we pulled up, this couple they were putting their groceries in the car, and I guess they noticed that we were out of place, so they pointed and laughed at us.
Literally, yeah. Pointed and laughed.
And then we proceeded to walk to the grocery store, and as we walked up, we saw sermons and CDs that were in the front.
It was like newspaper, like we would have newspapers like along like grocery stores, like coupons and stuff like that. It was like CDs and CDs of church sermons. And we didn't know what it was, and then someone walked up and was like, "These are church sermons." At first, Will thought it was a worship CD, which he was pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, because, yeah, this is what it is.
There's one right here.
So, yeah. So it was a worship CD. So that was interesting. Before we went in there, we found a sermon.
And then as we walked into Mart, it's actually Super Mart, but as we walked in there, we noticed that it's kind of like a mall mixed with the grocery store. And we walked into the mall area first, and
But when we first walked in, the smell.
It smelled like seafood everywhere.
Seafood. Very, very, very strong. Okay, so once we got into the supermarket, the first part is like the groceries and all that, but then if you walk down the hall, it's like shopping and all kinds of stuff. So we went into this first place, and it was like a photo booth, but it wasn't just like one photo booth. It was like 10. And there's like costumes and props and stuff like that. So you'll see a picture of our lovely time in the photo booth. What I had on was like, she's the woman that was helping us. She was really nice. She told us that it was like the most common Korean dress that women wear. So that's what I had on. And then my huge sunglasses. And Will had on like a...
I had on, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like a hat.
With a braided tail.
Ponytail.
With a braided tail. So yeah, that was fun.
It was a fun time.
It was fun.
But everything was like in Korean letters, so we didn't understand what was going on.
We were just pushing buttons, and we were hoping that it was going to print soon because we didn't know how to do it. But we learned when we learned how to fix it because we did it. So then we kept walking, and there was like this bank, and there was like nails, and there was like clothing stores, and then there was like it looked kind of like a coffee ground, stuff like that, but really it was like seaweed. So it was like, try us. So we went over there, and we pushed this dispenser, and it was green, looked like green, don't even know what, and it was like gritty and sandy, and so we both tasted it, and we agreed that it tasted like sand.
Sand with water.
The texture, sand, and it was some type of compiled seaweed, the man told us. So really gross, but we tried it.
And then there was like a toilet store. Yeah. And they had like advanced toilets with bidets, and it was warm water, and it was like the lady was trying to sell us one. It was like $600.
And then there was like a purifier, and she was like, "Yeah, we love our water purified."
Yeah.
So, but we do too.
Apparently they have very advanced technology for purifying water over there.
Clean water, that's what they like.
Yes. And then we proceeded into the grocery area.
Lots of fruits and vegetables, kind of like a regular supermarket. But then we got back to the back, and
that's where all the different types of Korean food were. And one of the ones that we saw that they had a lot was kimchi. And we asked somebody what it was, and it was like cabbage with chicken and radishes.
And like shrimp sometimes, but in the red pepper paste is the most common thing they use with it, and that's what makes it spicy. So it's really spicy, and it's like really red, but we didn't get to try it because it was like...
It looked different.
It looked different.
Oh, yeah.
And then we kept going, and everything, we were surprised with the variety of stuff that they had there. Like, their aisles are completely jam-packed. Everything is individually wrapped, like with a meal, or it's not like a huge case of anything. Like, everything is individually wrapped, and seafood. Seafood.
They had different seafood, like seafood you don't normally see.
Like they had live eels swimming around at the bottom.
And you choose the one that you want.
And you can choose which one you want to take to eat. And the one was like, "You should choose this one. That's really yummy."
And then we went
But then we kept going. And the seafood, there was dried, kind of like we eat dried fruit, dried fish. They eat them as a snack for protein. Huge heads of fish and the whole body just dried in a little sack to go eat for protein, for a snack. Yummy.
And then another thing that we noticed with the interaction was that they were really shy.
They wouldn't approach us. We would have to ask them a question. Like, there was one worker and she helped us quite a bit. We kept going back to her to ask questions. But they wouldn't, if they like asked if we were confused or if they would not approach us. We would have to approach them, and then if we did, some of them were kind of like, ignore us or stuff like that. But we figured it all out pretty good. I feel like we submersed ourselves and we survived. So. And
then we bought this, which we think it's aloe water. Yes, the stuff that you put on your skin.
But if you can see, I don't know if you can see. You can see it when we get there, though. There's like chunks of aloe in there. So, yeah, we might have to try it.
And we're going to try it later in the video, and you'll get our reaction. And that was basically it. We went to go eat somewhere right after across the street at a Korean restaurant. And that was another experience. It's
barbecue. Korean barbecue and diner.
The menu was all in
Korean,
and the waitress was just Korean. We didn't know how to communicate with her, so we just...
It was difficult. We pointed. We went
number one. We pointed at something. She didn't eat her food. I finished mine because I
tasted it and I tried it. Didn't eat it.
But that's our reaction to our adventure today, and we'll leave you with this taste of aloe.
He'll leave you with this taste of aloe. How is it?
It's not bad. It's good.
I'm okay.